The big space station floated high above New Terra. It was called the Orbital Academy. Every year, thousands of young people came here to train as monster hunters. The planet below had many dangerous creatures. They came from old wars when scientists made terrible animals to fight enemies. Now those animals ran free on some moons and wild planets. Hunters were needed to keep them away from human towns. At the academy, a machine tested every new recruit. It looked at their speed, their strength, and their courage, and how fast they could think in a fight. The best scores went to the top classes: Vanguard for brave fighters, Stealth for quiet killers, and Siege for heavy weapon teams. Those classes got the best teachers, the newest guns, and the fastest ships. But not everyone did well on the tests. Emily Harper was one of those people. She stood in a long line with other new recruits. The room was cold and bright with white lights. Everyone wore the same gray training suit. Emily was small, and with brown hair tied back in a simple knot. Her eyes were calm, almost sleepy. She did not talk much. When her turn came, she walked to the test chair and sat down. A metal band went around her head. Lights flashed. The machine hummed. After a few minutes, the screen showed her results in red letters. Aggression, 4% combat, reflex, 11%, tactical score, 8%, threat response, minimal. A loud voice came from the speakers. Emily Harper, assigned to failed hunter class. Some recruits laughed quietly, and others looked away. The failed hunter class was the worst place. People called it the scrap class. It was where the academy sent everyone who was too slow, too scared, or too weak. Most of them never became real hunters. They cleaned equipment, carried boxes, or left the academy after one bad year. Emily did not look surprised. She just nodded once and walked to the side door where the scrap class waited. Inside the small hangar, 5 other recruits stood in a loose circle. The floor was dirty, and old training pods sat in the corners, covered in dust. A tall man in a captain's uniform stood in front of them. His name was Daniel Brooks. He had short gray hair and a face that looked tired of everything. He held a tablet and read the names. Ryan Carter. Failed because you shot your own foot in the final sim. Ryan was big, with red hair. He crossed his arms and looked at the floor. Lauren Mitchell. You froze when a fake monster jumped at you. 3 times. Lauren was thin and with short black hair. She bit her lip. Kevin Hayes. You talk too much and listen too little. Your team left you behind in every exercise. Kevin had messy blonde hair and a nervous smile. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Sophia Grant. Your scores are good on paper, but you never pull the trigger when it matters. Sophia had dark skin and long braids. She stared straight ahead. And Emily Harper, Captain Brooks said. He looked at her for a long time. 0 confirmed kills in any simulation. No damage to enemy targets. Command says even the monsters will ignore you. He put the tablet down. Welcome to the failed hunter class. You 6 are the bottom of the barrel. Tomorrow you go on your first real drop. No fancy guns, no backup. Just observe and report. If you survive, maybe we let you try again. If not, well, that's one less problem for me. The group was quiet. Ryan finally spoke. So we're bait? Captain Brooks smiled, but it was not kind. You're whatever I say you are. Now get your neural collars and go to your bunks. Lights out in 1 hour. The neural collar was a thin metal band that went around the neck. It connected the hunter's brain to the team comms and to the academy computers. It also shocked you if you ran from a fight. Emily put hers on last. It felt cold against her skin. She tightened it until it sat just right. That night she lay on her narrow bed and looked at the ceiling, and the others whispered in the dark. I heard the moon we're going to is Epsilon 9, Lauren said. They say the monsters there are huge. 6 legs, poison quills, they hunt in packs. Great, Kevin said. So we get to watch them eat us. Sophia spoke softly. They don't always attack if you don't move. I read the reports. Ryan laughed. Yeah, sure. Stand still and hope they think you're a rock. Emily did not join the talk. She closed her eyes and listened to the hum of the station. But somewhere far below, on the surface of moons and planets, the monsters waited. She did not feel afraid. She felt something else, something quiet and strange, like the monsters were already watching her back. The next morning came fast. They met in the hangar at 0600. Each person got a basic pulse rifle, a small backpack with water and food bars, and a helmet with a cracked visor. The drop pod was old. Paint peeled off the sides. It smelled like oil and burnt wires. And Captain Brooks stood at the door. Your job is simple. Land, look around, send video back. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage. If you do, I will not come save you. He looked at Emily last. Especially you, Harper. Stay in the back. Try not to trip over your own feet. The pod door closed. The lights went red. A voice counted down. 10, 9, 8. Emily sat between Ryan and Lauren. She held her rifle across her lap. It felt heavy and wrong in her hands. She did not like guns. But they were loud. They hurt things. 3, 2, 1. The pod dropped. It fell fast through the dark. Then it hit the thin air of Epsilon 9. The whole thing shook. Metal screamed. Everyone grabbed their seats. When the pod hit the ground, dust flew up in a big cloud. The door blew open. Gray light came in. The 6 recruits stepped out onto the moon. The ground was dry and cracked. Rocks lay everywhere. In the distance, tall shapes moved. The monsters were already there. Ryan lifted his rifle. I see movement. 5 of them. Lauren whispered. They're coming this way. Kevin looked around. We should run. Sophia shook her head. Captain said observe only. Emily stepped forward one small step. She did not raise her gun. She just looked. The lead monster stopped. It was big. Its body was covered in thick bone plates, 6 legs bent like a spider's. Yellow eyes glowed in the half-dark. Venom quills stood up along its back. The pack slowed. They sniffed the air. Emily took another step. Ryan hissed, "What are you doing?" She did not answer. The alpha monster lowered its head a little. Its nostrils opened wide. It made a low sound, not angry but curious. Emily stood still. Her hands hung loose at her sides. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the alpha turned. It walked away. The rest of the pack followed. They disappeared behind a line of rocks. The 6 recruits stood frozen. Lauren spoke first. Did that just happen? Ryan lowered his rifle. But they didn't even try to attack. Kevin laughed, but it sounded shaky. Maybe they smelled how scared we are. Sophia looked at Emily. You didn't move. You just looked at them. Emily turned back to the group. Her face was calm. They were not hungry, she said quietly. They were just watching. Captain Brooks's voice came over the comms. It was loud and angry. Harper, report! What the hell was that? Emily pressed the side of her helmet. They came close. Then they left. No contact. There was a pause. Copy that, Brooks said. Stay sharp. We're watching. The group started walking toward the first checkpoint. Emily walked in the middle now. No one laughed at her anymore. Something had changed, and it was only the first day. The drop pod landed again on Epsilon 9 2 days later. Dust flew up around the metal shell. The door opened with a hiss. The same 6 recruits stepped out into the gray light. This time the air felt heavier. The wind carried a sharp smell, and like wet metal and old blood. Captain Brooks had given new orders over the comms before they left the station. Observe is not enough anymore. Command wants 1 live capture. Bring back a small juvenile monster. Alive. Use the nets and trank darts we gave you. Do not kill it. Do not get killed. Harper, you stay in the middle. No hero stuff. Emily carried the capture net on her back. It was heavy and rolled up tight. The tranq gun hung at her hip. She did not like either one. They felt wrong, and like tools made only to hurt. The group moved across the cracked plain. Tall rocks stood like broken teeth. In the distance, shapes moved fast. The monsters were already watching. Ryan walked in front. He held his pulse rifle high. I see tracks, fresh ones, big feet. Lauren checked her scanner. Heat signatures everywhere. At least 20 of them. They're circling us. Kevin kept looking over his shoulder. This feels bad, like they know we're coming. Sophia stayed quiet. I dipped low. A dry riverbed ran through it. She did not speak. They reached a wide valley. The ground dipped low. A dry riverbed ran through it. Small monsters played near the edge. Juveniles, not yet full grown. Their plates were still soft. Their quills were short. They chased each other and made high barking sounds. The alpha appeared on the ridge above. It was the same one from the first drop. Scarred plates. At one missing forelimb. Yellow eyes locked on the humans. The pack gathered behind it. They did not charge. They waited. Ryan raised his rifle. There's the target. Small one on the left. I can tranq it from here. Lauren shook her head. Too far. We need to get closer. Captain Brooks's voice came through. Move in slow. Nets ready. Fire only if they attack first. The group started down the slope. Emily stopped. She put one hand on Ryan's arm. Wait. Ryan looked at her. Oh, what? They're not running. They see us. Let me try something. Ryan snorted. Like last time, stand there and stare? Emily did not answer. She took the capture net off her back and set it on the ground. She unclipped the tranq gun and laid it next to the net. Then she walked forward alone, hands empty. No weapon. The others froze. Lauren whispered, She's crazy. Sophia said, Or she knows something we don't. Emily walked 10 steps, then 20. She stopped in the open, and the juveniles looked up. They tilted their heads. The alpha growled low. The pack shifted, but no one moved closer. Emily knelt slowly. She sat on her heels. She opened her hands, palms up. She looked straight at the alpha. The big monster took one step forward, then another. Its claws clicked on stone. The juveniles ran behind it. They peeked out. Emily spoke. Her voice was soft, almost too quiet for the comms to catch. You remember me? I remember you too. The alpha stopped 5 meters away. I get back now. That's an order. Emily did get back now. That's an order. Emily did not move. The alpha made a sound, not a growl, more like a rumble from deep inside its chest. The juveniles came closer. One small one, the smallest, stepped out. It had a scratch on its side. Fresh blood. Emily looked at the wound. She reached out slowly. Very slowly. The juvenile flinched but did not run. Her fingers touched the air near the cut. She did not grab. She just stayed there. You're hurt, she said. It's okay. The juvenile made a small whine. It stepped closer. Its head bumped her hand. The pack watched. Ryan's voice shook. Did you see that? It touched her. Lauren's eyes were wide. They're not attacking. The alpha rumbled again. It turned its head to the side. It showed its neck, a sign Emily had read about in old reports. Submission, trust. Emily stood up very slowly. She took one step toward the juvenile. It did not move away. She put her hand near the wound again. She hummed a low sound, soft, steady. The bleeding slowed, not because of medicine, just because the creature relaxed. The juvenile nuzzled her arm. Its rough plates brushed her suit. Then the alpha did something no one expected. It walked to a dead animal nearby, a small native creature it had killed earlier. It picked it up in its jaws. It carried the fresh meat and dropped it at Emily's feet. An offering. Emily looked down at the gift. She nodded once. Thank you. The pack relaxed. Some sat, some lay down. The juveniles played again, but closer to her now. Captain Brooks shouted over comms. What in the stars is happening down there? Harper, report! Emily pressed her helmet. They're calm. No threat. The juvenile is hurt but okay. They brought food. Brooks paused. You're telling me a pack of reavers just gave you a present? Yes, sir. Another long silence. Stay there. Do not move. We're sending a science drone. Do not engage. Do not capture. Just wait. The group stayed back. They watched from the ridge. Emily sat again. The juvenile lay beside her. It rested its head on her leg. The alpha stood guard nearby. The pack formed a loose circle around her, not trapping her, protecting her. Ryan lowered his rifle. I don't believe this, Kevin said. So she didn't even use the tranq. Sophia smiled a little. Maybe we don't need it. The science drone arrived 20 minutes later. It flew low. It scanned Emily and the monsters. Lights flashed. Data streamed back to the station. The drone hovered near the juvenile. The alpha growled once. The drone backed off fast. Emily put her hand on the alpha's front leg. It's okay. It's just looking. The growl stopped. The drone finished its scan and flew away. Brooks came on comms again. His voice was different now, not angry, confused. Harper, the scans show bioresonance. Your neural collar is picking up signals from them. Faint, but real. They're talking to you, or you to them. Emily looked at the alpha. I think they just want someone to listen. The pack stayed with her until the pickup pod arrived. When the engines roared, the monsters backed away. They did not run. They walked, slow, calm. The juvenile gave one last nuzzle before it went back to its family. See, Emily stood up. She picked up the capture net and tranq gun. She had not used them. The pod door opened. The group climbed in. As the pod lifted off, Ryan looked at Emily. You didn't capture anything. Emily looked out the small window. The pack stood on the ridge. The alpha watched them go. I captured something better, she said quietly. Trust. The pod climbed into the dark sky. Below, the monsters did not scatter. They stayed together, watching the spot where she had been. They're back on the station. The science team played the footage again and again. Command started asking questions, and somewhere in the quiet corners of the academy, people began to whisper. The scrap class was no longer just scraps. Something new was starting. The science team on the orbital station could not stop talking about the footage. They played the video from Emily's helmet cam over and over. A pack of reavers, creatures built to kill, had not just left her alone. They had protected her. And they had given her food. The juvenile had let her touch its wound. The alpha had shown its neck. No one had ever seen anything like it. Major Olivia Grant led the review meeting. She was tall, with sharp eyes and short silver hair. She stood in front of a big screen that showed still images of Emily kneeling next to the small monster. This is not luck, Major Grant said. This is something new. We need to test it again. Controlled, safe, but real. Captain Brooks sat in the back. Right. We gained something no other hunter right. We gained something no other hunter team has. Permission granted. Drop tomorrow. Same group. New objective. Make contact. See how far this goes. The next morning, the 6 recruits stood in the hangar again. Their suits looked a little less new now. Scratches marked the gray fabric from the last drop. Captain Brooks walked up to them. He held 6 new neural collars. These ones were different, thinner, with small blue lights that blinked softly. These are upgraded, he said. Better sensors. They will record every brainwave, every signal. Yours and theirs. Harper, yours has an extra channel. Direct link to the science deck. They want to watch in real time. Emily took her collar. It felt lighter than the old one. She put it on without a word. Ryan looked at his. So we're lab rats now? Brooks nodded. Pretty much. Your job is simple. Land. Find the pack. Let Harper lead. Do not shoot unless your life is in danger. Report everything. Lauren asked, "What if they attack?" Brooks shrugged. "Then you die fast, or you don't. That's the test." The pod dropped again. This time it landed closer to the valley. The ground shook when it hit. Dust rolled away in waves. They stepped out. The air was thick with the smell of the monsters now, musk and stone and something sharp. The scanner beeped right away. Wahit signatures closed in fast, more than last time. Kevin pointed. "Look, on the ridge, and over there, and there." Packs were coming from 3 directions. Not one group, 3. Different alphas led each one. Different scars, different sizes, but all moving toward the same spot, toward Emily. Ryan gripped his rifle tighter. "This is too many." Sophia said, "They're not charging, they're walking." Emily stepped forward. She did not look scared. She walked to the center of the open ground. She sat down cross-legged, hands on her knees, eyes closed for a moment. The first pack arrived, the same alpha from before. It stopped 10 meters away. The juveniles ran forward. They circled her but did not touch. They made soft barking sounds. The second pack came next, a bigger alpha, darker plates. It growled once. The first alpha answered with a low rumble. The growl stopped. The third pack appeared last. This alpha had no missing limb but carried fresh wounds across its side. It limped a little. It looked at Emily for a long time. Emily opened her eyes. She looked at each alpha in turn. She spoke quietly. "You all came. Thank you for coming." The word sounded strange over the comms, but the monsters seemed to understand. The first alpha lowered its head. The others followed. Ryan whispered, "They're bowing." Lauren's voice shook. "Or submitting." Emily stood up slowly. She walked to the wounded alpha, the big one with the fresh cuts. It did not move away. It alpha made a deep sound, almost a sigh. It alpha made a deep sound, almost a sigh. It leaned forward just a little. Emily touched the edge of the wound, not hard, just enough to feel the heat. She hummed again, the same low sound from before. The bleeding stopped faster this time. The edges of the cut looked less angry. The alpha closed its eyes for a second. When it opened them, the yellow glow seemed softer. One of the juveniles from the second pack ran up. It dropped a small stone at Emily's feet, polished, shiny, another gift. Emily picked it up. She turned it in her hand. "Pretty?" she said. She put it in her pocket. Captain Brooks came over comms. His voice was low now. "Harper, the resonance readings are off the chart. Your brain waves are syncing with theirs. It's not control, it's matching, like you're part of the same song." Emily looked up at the sky. "Peace." Major Grant's voice joined the piece. Major Grant's voice joined the channel. "Harper, ask them to follow you. See if they will move with you." Emily looked at the alphas. She pointed to a path that led out of the valley, toward the old research outpost. "Come with me," she said. "Just a little way." The first alpha took one step, then another. The pack followed. And the second pack moved next. The third one hesitated. The wounded alpha looked back at its group, then it stepped forward too. Soon all 3 packs walked behind Emily. Not in a line, in a loose half-circle. Juveniles played between the adults. Alphas stayed close to her sides. The 6 recruits walked with her. Ryan kept his rifle down. Lauren filmed everything. Kevin stopped talking. Sophia walked beside Emily. She smiled. They reached the edge of the valley, and the outpost was still a kilometer away. Old metal buildings, broken fences. The place humans had left empty years ago. Emily stopped. She turned to the packs. "This is far enough," she said. "You can go back now, or stay. Your choice." The alphas looked at each other. They made soft sounds back and forth. Then the first alpha stepped closer to Emily. It lowered its head until its plates touched her shoulder, a gentle push. Emily put her hand on its neck. "Okay," she said. "You can stay close." The packs did not leave. They spread out around the group. Some sat, some watched the horizon. None attacked. A small monster from the third pack came up to Ryan. It sniffed his boot. Ryan froze. The juvenile looked up at him. It made a curious sound. Ryan looked at Emily. She nodded. "It's okay. It just wants to know you." Ryan knelt slowly. He held out his hand. The juvenile bumped it with its head. Then it ran back to its pack. Lauren laughed quietly. "Aren't they like us now?" Emily said. "They like that we're not shooting." The comms crackled again. Major Grant spoke. "Harper, bring them closer to the outpost. We want to see if they guard it." Emily looked at the alphas. She pointed toward the buildings. "Will you watch that place? Keep it safe?" The wounded alpha rumbled. It started walking that way. The others followed. By the time the pickup pod arrived, the packs had formed a wide ring around the outpost. They did not enter. They just stood guard. The pod landed. The door opened. Emily turned to the monsters. "We have to go now, thank you." The first alpha made a long, low sound, almost sad. Emily walked to it. She touched its scarred plates. "I'll come back," she said. The alpha nuzzled her hand once. Then it stepped back. The 6 recruits climbed into the pod. As it lifted off, they looked down. Hundreds of eyes glowed in the dark, all watching the small ship rise. But none followed with anger. They stayed. "Yes," Captain Brooks rubbed his face. Yes," Captain Brooks rubbed his face. "We thought the scrap class was a failure. Looks like we were wrong." The science team pulled up the resonance data. Lines on the screen danced together. Emily's waves, the monster's waves. They moved as one. Word spread through the academy fast. The failed hunters were coming back different. And the monsters were no longer enemies. They were waiting for her. The orbital academy never slept. Lights stayed on in every corridor. Screens showed live feeds from 100 worlds. But on this night, most eyes were fixed on one feed, the one from Epsilon 9. Hundreds of monsters walked in calm circles around the old research outpost. They did not fight. They did not hunt humans. They guarded. In the main command room, Major Olivia Grant stood with her arms crossed. And Major Grant spoke first. "We can't ignore the fact that the enemy is here. We must act now. The time is short. The stakes are high. We must not fail. We must not let them win. We must not let them take our freedom. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our children. We must not let them take our future. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take our hope. We must not let them take our faith. We must not let them take our love. We must not let them take our hearts. We must not let them take our souls. We must not let them take our lives. We must not let them take our world. We must not let them take. Major Grant spoke first. We can't ignore this anymore. One recruit, 1 week, and she has an army that listens to her. Brooks rubbed his chin. The brass upstairs wants answers. They want tests. They want control. Grant shook her head. Control is the wrong word. Look at the data. No force. I know tech override. Her neural collar picks up resonance, but she is not giving orders. She is asking, and they answer. A science officer walked in. He carried a tablet full of graphs. Lines danced together in perfect waves. Her brain patterns match theirs now, almost 1-to-1 in low ranges. It is like she shares their thoughts. Not all, just the important ones. Trust, safety, belonging. Brooks looked up. So what is she? A freak? A mutant? The officer shrugged. Maybe a dormant gene from the old colonies. Some settlers were changed to survive on hostile worlds. The monsters were made from the same stock. Perhaps her blood sings the same song they do. Major Grant turned to the screen. Call her back. Full review board. Now. The next drop was different. No pod crash. A clean shuttle landed near the outpost. Emily stepped out first. Her team followed. Ryan, Lauren, Kevin, and Sophia walked close behind her. They carried no heavy weapons. Just basic sidearms. No nets, no tranks. The monsters did not run. They gathered. Alphas stepped forward. Juveniles played at the edges. All eyes on Emily. She walked to the biggest alpha, the scarred one from the first day. It lowered its head. She placed her hand on its plates. Warm. Rough. Alive. I have to go up for a while, she said softly. Will you wait? The alpha rumbled deep in its chest. A yes. Emily turned to her team. Stay with them if you want, or come with me. At your choice. Ryan looked at the monsters, then at Emily. I'm coming up, but I want to come back down. Lauren nodded. Same. Kevin grinned. Someone has to keep you out of trouble. Sophia just smiled and stayed silent. They boarded the shuttle. The monsters watched until the ship rose into the sky. Then they spread out again, guarding the outpost like it was their home. The review board met in a large room with thick glass walls. Stars shone outside. Major Grant sat at the head of the table, so 5 other officers joined her, all high rank, all serious. Emily stood in the center, no chair, just her. Major Grant started. Emily Harper, explain what is happening on Epsilon 9. Emily looked around the table. Her voice stayed calm. I listened to them. They listened to me. They are not monsters. They are survivors. The wars made them angry, scared, alone. I show them they are not alone anymore. One officer leaned forward. How do you make them obey? I don't make them, Emily said. I ask. And they choose. Another officer tapped a screen. The resonance data shows sync. Your mind links to theirs. Is this natural? Emily thought for a moment. I don't know. Maybe it was always there. I just never had a reason to use it before. Major Grant asked the hardest question. If we order you to command them to attack a human target, would they do it? Emily met her eyes. No, I would not ask, and they would not listen if I did. Silence filled the room. Brooks spoke from the side. She is right. Footage shows it. They protect what she protects. They ignore what she ignores. Major Grant stood up. We are reassigning the failed hunter class. Effective now. You are no longer scrap. You report directly to Xenofauna Liaison Division. Harper leads. Unofficial command for field work. She looked at Emily. Your team stays with you. Extra training. Better gear. But the rules are simple. No forced control. No killing unless life is at stake. We want allies, not slaves. Emily nodded once. The meeting ended. Back in the small hangar, the 5 others waited. They had heard the news already. Ryan clapped Emily on the back. Boss now, huh? Emily smiled a little. First time most of them had seen it. Not boss, just the one who talks to them. Lauren held up a new collar. They gave us better ones. Sync channels open. We can feel a little of what you feel. Kevin laughed. So if you get scared, we all jump? Sophia touched Emily's arm. We trust you. The next day they dropped again. This time with purpose. The outpost needed supplies, food, water, power cells. Humans could not go near without monsters attacking. But with Emily, things changed. The shuttle landed soft. Emily stepped out. The packs came close. Alphas greeted her with low rumbles. Juveniles ran circles around her legs. She pointed to the crates. We need to carry these inside. Will you help? The alphas looked at the crates, then at each other. One stepped forward. It used its strong forelimbs to push a heavy box. Slow, careful. Others joined. Soon monsters carried supplies. They moved boxes into the outpost buildings. No damage, no rush. Like workers who knew the job. Ryan watched with wide eyes. They're unloading cargo. Lauren filmed it all. This is going in the report. Kevin helped stack a box. A juvenile bumped him playfully. He laughed. Sophia stood next to Emily. They like the work. Emily nodded. They like being useful. Days passed. The outpost came alive again. Lights glowed in old windows. Power hummed. Monsters patrolled the fences. They chased away wild scavengers. They hunted invasive plants that choked the soil. One night, a storm hit. Wind howled. Dust filled the sky. Lightning cracked. Humans hid inside. Monsters gathered close to the buildings. Their bodies blocked the wind. Juveniles huddled under adult plates. Emily stood at the door. She watched them. Thank you, she whispered. The alphas rumbled back. When the storm passed, the ground was wet. New plants pushed up through cracks, green, small, hopeful. Back on the station, Command watched every feed. Major Grant spoke to Brooks in a quiet hall. We thought we failed her. We thought the class was useless. Turns out we just didn't know how to look. Brooks nodded slow. She turned scraps into something else. A bridge between us and them. Grant looked out at the stars. And the monsters? Bet they got a leader who cares. Emily sat in her bunk that night. The stone from the juvenile rested on her table. Shiny, smooth. She turned it in her fingers. She closed her eyes. She felt them. Far below. Waiting. Not with hunger, not with anger, with patience. She smiled again. The week was almost over, and everything had changed. The alarms started at midnight. Red lights flashed across the orbital station. Sirens screamed in every hall. Screens showed chaos on Epsilon 9. A wall in the old containment zone had cracked open. Hundreds of monsters poured out. Not the compacts Emily knew. These were wild ones, angry, hungry. They charged toward the research outposts. Claws tore metal. Quills flew. Humans ran for cover. Captain Daniel Brooks burst into the command room. His face looked pale under the red glow. Major Olivia Grant already stood there. She pointed at the main screen. Full breach, she said. Elite squads launched 10 minutes ago. They're down. I torn apart. We have no one left who can stop this. Brooks looked at the live feed. Monsters swarmed the fences. Outpost lights flickered. People screamed over open channels. Grant turned to him. The failed hunter class is all we have. Brooks stared at her. They're 5 kids and 1 girl who talks to monsters. You want to send them into that? Grant did not blink. Yes, because the monsters listen to her. Get them ready. Shuttle leaves in 15. In the small hangar, Emily and her team already wore their suits. They had heard the alarms. They knew what it meant. Ryan checked his rifle. This isn't a test anymore. Lauren loaded extra tranq darts. We don't shoot to kill. We shoot to slow if we have to. Kevin looked nervous, but steady. We follow her. That's the plan. Sophia touched Emily's shoulder. You ready? Emily nodded. She felt the pull in her chest. The monsters below were screaming in her mind. Not words, just feelings, fear, pain, rage. The old wars had woken up again. The shuttle dropped fast. No gentle landing. It hit hard. Dust exploded. The door blew open. Outside was hell. Monsters roared. Buildings burned. Humans fired from windows. Bullets sparked off bone plates. The air smelled like smoke and blood. Emily stepped out first. Her team followed close. The nearest monsters turned. Yellow eyes locked on her. Some charged. Others hesitated. Emily raised both hands high. No weapon. No fear in her face. Stop, she said, loud. Step by step. Into the middle of the step by step. Into the middle of the swarm. Her team stayed back but kept pace. Ryan lifted his rifle but did not aim. Lauren whispered into comms. She's doing it again. Emily reached the center of the plane. Thousands of monsters now surrounded her. Alphas pushed through the crowd. The scarred one from the first day appeared. It limped forward, wounds fresh from the fight. Emily looked at it. I know you're hurt, I know you're angry, but this has to end. The scarred alpha lowered its head. It rumbled deep. The sound rolled out like thunder. Other alphas answered. The roar quieted a little. Emily spoke again, over open comms so the whole station could hear. You don't have to die today, and the humans don't have to die either. Walk with me instead. She turned and pointed to the broken containment wall, and the place the monsters had escaped from. Go back there, stay there. Let the humans fix it. No more fighting. A big monster near the front snarled. It stepped forward, quills raised. The scarred alpha growled once, sharp, commanding. The snarling one stopped. It backed away. Emily walked toward the wall, slow, steady. The monsters parted. Some followed, then more. A wave started. Packs turned. They walked behind her. Her team moved with her. Ryan walked on her right, Lauren on her left. Kevin and Sophia behind. The monsters did not attack. They followed. When Emily reached the wall, she stopped. The hole was wide, twisted metal, dark inside. She the pain, but pain does not have to win the pain. But pain does not have to win. Choose peace. Choose to live. The scarred alpha pushed to the front. It lowered itself until its head rested near her feet. One by one, others did the same. A rolling wave of bodies knelt in the dust. The snarls stopped. The quills lowered. Silence fell over the plain. Emily placed her hand on the scarred alpha's head. Thank you. The monster made a soft sound, almost like a sigh. She turned to the hole. Go inside. Rest. Heal. The scarred alpha stood first. It walked through the gap. Others followed, slow, orderly, no rush, no fight. Her team watched in silence. Ryan whispered, They're listening. All of them. Lauren's eyes shone with tears. It's beautiful. Kevin laughed quietly. We did it. Sophia smiled. She did it. By the time the last monster stepped inside, the plane was empty except for Emily and her team. The outposts still smoked, but no more screams came over comms. Humans peeked out from doors. They stared. Emily looked up at the sky. A drone hovered high. filming everything. Captain Brooks's voice came through, soft now, almost broken. "Harper, report." Emily pressed her helmet. "The breach is contained." They went back inside. "They won't come out unless I ask." A long pause. Major Grant spoke next. "Copy that. Good work. All of you." The shuttle came down to pick them up. Emily waited until the last monster disappeared into the dark. Then she climbed aboard. On the way back, no one spoke much. They just sat and looked out the windows. When they landed on the station, people waited in the hangar. Not officers. Regular workers, trainees, scientists. They clapped. Some cheered. Them. Emily nodded. They chose to them. Emily nodded. They chose to follow. Grant smiled a little. "The logs are updated. Failed Hunter class is no more. You are now Sovereign Liaison, Xenofauna Division. Full command on field ops. Your team stays with you." She looked at the others. "All of you," Ryan grinned. "About time." Lauren hugged Sophia. Kevin pumped his fist. Emily looked down at her hands. They felt different now, stronger. That night she sat in the small observation deck. Stars filled the windows. Below, Epsilon 9 turned slow and quiet. She felt them still, faint, warm, waiting, not as enemies, as friends. Captain Brooks found her there. He stood in the door for a minute before he spoke. "We thought we failed you," he said. "We put you in the worst class, gave you nothing." Emily turned. "You gave me everything. The one day no one has to fight anymore. One day, no one has to fight anymore." Brooks nodded slow. "Maybe." He walked away. Emily stayed. She touched the stone in her pocket, the shiny one from the juvenile. Somewhere far below, a pack rumbled in the dark. A quiet song. She answered in her mind. "I'm here." And they answered back. We know. The end.